I never thought of that, but that could be.
But that's interesting.
Hey guys, in today's video I share my theory on why maybe Steven Seagal doesn't like Jean-Claude Van Damme. And we're also going to talk about Steven Seagal and Frank Dux, like going back to the 80s, kind of like the rivalry and what they thought about each other. My guest in today's video is Sheldon Lettich. Make sure to check him out on Facebook to kind of get the latest updates with what's going on with him. And also in this video, we're going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about Avi Lerner, the Expendables, and things like that. Anyway, please help support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing the video. And if you want to smell amazing inside or outside the gym, Black Belt Fragrances, I'll get you a discount. All information linked in the description below. And, also follow me on Instagram. I'm posting some stuff on there, and I'm going to give some fitness and martial arts related tips. So make sure to check that out if you're not following yet. And with all that said, let's get on to this discussion with Sheldon Lettich.
I had other encounters with Seagal also. Seagal and I came up with, he and Jean-Claude had the same attorney at one time.
Oh, really?
And he was my attorney too, this guy, Andy Rigrod.
Okay.
So Andy introduced me to Seagal. And Seagal and I, we kind of hit it off there for a while. Yes, funny, his one caveat at the time, there's only one problem I have with you, Lettich. It's the fact that you work with this guy named Frank Dux.
No. It's Dux.
Seagal and Frank Dux, they go way back hating one another.
Oh, really?
They both had martial arts dojos at the same time. And they were both calling one another phonies. So
they were calling each other phonies.
Yeah.
That's right. You're a big fat phony.
That's
so
funny.
Seagal and Frank Dux, they go way, way back. And it's funny too that Seagal would intentionally mispronounce Frank's last name, call him Frank Dux. And Frank would intentionally mispronounce Seagal's last name. He would call him Steve Seagal, which is his real last name. It's really Seagal.
Oh, is it?
Seagal's grandfather was Jewish. Van Damme's grandfather was also Jewish on his paternal side. Seagal never really talks about that, but tries to make it seem like he's a made man mafia guy. But no, his real name is Seagal, Steve Seagal. Those guys, the animosity between the two of them goes way, way back.
But you know what the irony is? If they're calling each other phonies, like they both try to say they have ties to the CIA.
Correct. Yes.
I mean, they're like,
Correct.
It's hilarious.
Seagal, knowing that I actually served in Vietnam, was trying to tell me Vietnam stories too. That he was trying to say that he was in Vietnam also, which is total bullshit. He was never in the military at all, Steven Seagal, and never did anything for the CIA. So he's another big. But at least Seagal made a career for himself. At least he made a bunch of movies.
Sure.
Frank never did that. Frank was, Frank's basically running his little martial arts dojos.
I wonder if Seagal initially didn't like Van Damme, not because he's like the other martial arts guy gaining popularity and competing against him, but more because he played Frank Dux in a movie and Seagal hates Frank Dux.
I never thought of that, but that could be.
But that's interesting.
In my opinion, Van Damme is the best thing to happen to Seagal and vice versa. Same with Stallone and Arnold, because you have this guy that is competing, and basically you kind of have the same audience, right? And it's like you got to keep trying to one up each other. So I don't know how Van Damme feels about Seagal. Seagal seems to not like Van Damme.
Oh, they both dislike one another.
Oh, so
okay.
Because I've seen Van Damme try to be diplomatic in interviews.
I met the guy a few times. He's a nice guy. Doesn't like me much. I like him a lot. Good guy. Good charisma. He's got something special on the screen.
But I don't know if he's just, again, being diplomatic.
He's just being diplomatic, yeah.
So he actually doesn't like Seagal.
No.
But do you agree that they actually, even though they don't like each other, it's the best thing for them? Because maybe not now in straight to video land, But in the 90s, it's like, let me be, one up the other guy. So it kind of that motivation, you need that.
Well, you heard about the Demolition Man casting, right?
Yeah, basically it was going to be Van Damme and Seagal, but
yes,
neither one of us then wanted to lose and be the bad guy.
correct. Yeah, yeah. So, and then the movie that Jean-Claude did just a couple of years ago with Scott Adkins, that was called Assassination Games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know
That
he
was-
also did The Shepherd, but yeah, Assassination Games was another one.
That was originally intended to be a Van Damme and Seagal movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, neither one of them wanted to work with one another.
Wow. It's funny because the fans would love to see them together, myself included.
Right, right. Well, it's funny, Brad Cravoy's take on this, when we wanted to get Wesley Snipes for the hardcore, was that it's basically the same audience. The Van Damme audience and the Wesley Snipes audience is basically the same people. They're the same ones that buy the tickets, that buy the videos. So by paying each one of them $3 million, you're not getting more bang for your buck. You're actually getting less, because these same people are going to see the movie anyways, whether you have both of them in there or you have one of them in there. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think, you got to, if you've got a cool team up with two big action guys like that, I think that's going to,
it's been proven in the Expendables that formula works, because here's the way I look at it. We're not talking about their prime in the 90s where you're going to go anyway to every one of their movies. We're talking now. They come out with a movie straight to video. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I won't. I guarantee you, if Van Damme and Skull came out with a movie together, boom, we're all on board.
Yeah, or Van Damme and Snipes, we're all on board.
Yeah, totally.
But then, see, you're not the one that's got to write the check for $3 million.
I wish I had that amount of money. I'll write it right now. I'll write it just to be selfish, so I can watch the movie even if I'm the only one watching it.
Right, but the producers are not thinking that way. They're thinking, how do I maximize my profit on this movie? And so why do I want to pay an extra $3 million to Wesley Snipes? I'm already paying $3 million to Van Damme. It's the same audience. I'm just throwing $3 million away. I might as well find another actor who can play that role. Well, I'll get for $50,000, and that's an extra $3 million in my pocket.
Yeah, their second house or something.
Right.
Yeah, they're not doing it for the fans, unfortunately.
No, they're not. It's all about for not for all producers, but for some, it's basically about how much money can I put in my pockets from this movie.
I really get a sense of that, especially now, because it seems like there's no passion in the movies they make now, especially the DTV era. I feel like they make a movie, but I feel like they're strictly doing it to try to probably make some kind of money off of it, but they're not actually trying to make a good movie, because they know certain names are going to sell regardless. So it's like, why put the time and effort? Let's just shave as much off as we can. We'll put it in our bank account and we'll give people something, something that will never be rewatched 20 or 30 years later, like the Bloodsports and the Lionhearts, but it's something for today that's disposable that no one's ever going to, rewatch again in the future. It
just depends. There are producers out there that really care about the product and really want a lot of people to see their movies. They want to make something cool. They want to make something that's going to be enduring. And then there's the other ones that are basically just thinking about the dollars and cents. Yeah. So I've worked for both kinds of producers.
Yeah, I can only guess what's the nicer working relationship is with.
Well, if you got a producer that's passionate about the movie too and wants to make the best movie possible. See, a producer like that would say, you know what, Van Damme and Snipes, that's going to be a cool movie. People are going to want to see that movie. Okay, it's going to cost an extra $3 million. I'll take the risk. Basically, that's what business is all about. Business is about risk and reward. And can I guarantee that I'm going to make extra money by having both of them? No, I can't guarantee it, but it's going to be a cool movie. There are producers out there that will take that risk, and then there are some that won't.
They've both been on an upward trajectory lately. Again, Van Damme working with Netflix, Last Mercenary is doing really good. He was great in it. Wesley Snipes, Coming to America Part 2, some other stuff. So they're both really on an upward trajectory again, which is really cool. So who knows? Maybe this amazing action film can still happen because they both still look great. They both still move great. They both still have an insane amount of fans. So maybe, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're kind of beyond trying to team those two guys up.
That died with the hardcore. That dream.
Like Avi Lerner, here's a good example of somebody that just decided to go for it. Because Avi's dream from the very beginning was he wants to make the big Hollywood action movies with all the big Hollywood action stars. All right, but he started small. He started with they did. They had all these new Image movies with Frank Zagarino, people like that, Gary Daniels. All right, they're banging out these little action movies in South Africa, and then Avi makes the big move. Now I'm going to get Van Damme. I got Van Damme. We do the Order was the first one he did with Van Damme. At the same time, he was doing a movie or two with Steven Seagal, who he ended up hating because Seagal was just a complete pain in the ass for him. But he was moving up. He was basically moving up the ladder. Okay, we're going from Frank Zagarino to Van Damme to Seagal. But now he's making money with those. Now it's time to get the big boys. And that's when he took the chance on the Expendables. And for the Expendables, look, he had all the top action guys in Hollywood. This is like a wet dream for him 20 years earlier. I got Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Mel Gibson, Van Damme. They're all in my movie. So he went for it. He wasn't thinking. And of course, he realized, you know what? If this could be a huge success as well, but he still had to take the chance. He still had to take the chance of paying Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis. These guys were not cheap, but he put the money out. He had the money. He put it out and took a chance on the Expendables, and that turned into a huge franchise for him. But he had the guts to try. Whereas I couldn't get Brad Cravoy to cross that threshold to say, I'm going to get Van Damme and Snipes in the same movie. I think we would have gone theatrical with that movie if we'd had a big enough cast.
Yeah, I would bet, man. It's kind of funny that almost, because again, it could have been Seagal and DMX, which they worked on Exit Wounds together. So Hardcore could have had like a reunion with those guys. But going back to Avi Lerner and the Expendables, it is interesting that you mentioned that he didn't like working with Seagal, because that's essentially, and I don't think Seagal liked working with him. That's why Seagal never ended up in the Expendables. He was like the one guy that definitely should have been in one of those Expendables movies.
I actually did hear from reliable sources that Avi pretty much nixed Seagal. Like, no, we don't even want to approach Seagal. Seagal is not going to be in these Expendable movies because he was a total asshole to me. And apparently he was very rude and insulting to Avi and all the people who were working on those movies. Avi pretty much said, we'll get Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, all these guys. No Seagal. Even if he comes begging on his knees, no Seagal in these movies.
Yeah, that's a shame. And I know it looks like Stallone's hinting at a fourth one finally.
Stallone what?
Hinting at a fourth Expendables film.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like Seagal will probably be in it.
Didn't they had Jackie Chan in one of them, right?
No, they had Jet Li though.
Oh, Jet Li, right. They had Jet Li. And Jason Statham.
He's a really cool guy.
They haven't had Dwayne Johnson yet, but
I heard they didn't want to pay him as much as like his prices, because I know,
Oh.
like you mentioned, they obviously paid Willis, Schwarzenegger,
Right,
Stallone,
right.
but so I think it was like, well, he's a little too expensive.
Or they might have said it's favored nations. So whatever Stallone and Schwarzenegger are getting, that's what we're going to pay you. And Dwayne Johnson's, he probably gets like 20 million a movie nowadays.
Yeah, he's definitely like the top guy right now
Mhm.
as far as like how much he gets paid. I don't necessarily think quality wise, but as far as like what he makes, sure.
Right, yeah.